Hello everyone, and welcome to the UBports Community Update. This is episode 22, recorded live on February 3rd, 2018. We're up to Big 22, everyone. I was expecting something more. We've got a great roundup of community news, events, and some questions. So let's get right to it. Joining me this week are Marius.
Hey.
Jan.
Hello.
And a new face that you have never seen before, Will.
Hello, happy to be here.
But you've heard of Will, and we're going to talk to Will a lot more later in the show. But first, we have a bit of admin. So everyone, collective sigh. This is going to be the last UBports Community Update. We're renaming it to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A.
Oh.
I got Marius with that one too.
I was like, what?
So, basically, this is where you'll go for more of the technical discussion, interesting people we bring on from the community, such as Will, who is one of the most interesting people in the community.
Whoa.
And it's more of the big picture kind of things around the community and the project. Whereas the audiocast is more of non-technical discussion or interesting tangents that relate to the UBports project, or the Ubuntu Touch project rather, but aren't exactly the technical parts. And then there's also the news audio show, which is only for small tidbits of things. All right, I think that's out of the way. Is that all the admin we have?
I think so.
Excellent. Let's get right into our upcoming events, and we have 3 of them. Oof, my hand was not working there. 3 events. So first, I actually don't know how to pronounce this word, but Jan, can you take the...
Please try. This is going to be fun, everyone.
No, don't make me.
Kermit's Linux Days. Kermit.
Yeah, so we are going to be at Chemnitz Linux Days. It's a German event, as you could have probably figured by the weird word Chemnitz. It's a city in Eastern Germany. When I say we are going to be there, well, I am going to be there, and I'm going to talk about Ubuntu Touch. I don't know if someone else will come. Maybe Florian. I think it's not 100% confirmed yet. But yeah, if you're in the area, drop by. It's going to be fun. Should I just continue with the other events as well?
Sure.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm. So Chemnitz Linux Days is going to be on March 10th. The next one we have is a community organized one. It's also very interesting. Also in Germany, unfortunately. Sorry about the prominence of the German community there. It's going to be an event in Munich on March 17. So just 1 week later. Kind of a meetup, just people meeting to talk about Ubuntu Touch. Maybe do some working. Just meeting everyone. It's also going to be fun. I'm also going to be there. And again, I think Florian maybe. Probably also mainly German-speaking people there. So I don't know. But if someone from somewhere else wants to join, I guess that's not forbidden.
That link in the live chat.
Yeah, great. And the next event is the most exciting event, probably, that's going to be UBCon Europe 2018 in Spain, in, let's try this, Gijón. I don't know if that's correct.
That's as well as I could have done it.
Yeah, it's the European Ubuntu conference. That's going to be great fun. I think we have 2 talks there as well. So Marius is going to do a live porting session.
Mm-hmm.
Marius, do you want to talk about that?
No. So why I said no there is that first of all there will be a surprise there, and also it will be first of all it will kind of be highly technical at first, but I will end off with more simpler stuff. The plan there is to do a live porting of a completely new device, with some surprises in there, and we want to do that in a way, not only to show the porting, but I also want to bring in some of the Ubuntu stuff that we actually create, or Ubuntu, no,
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, those Ubuntu stuff that we build into it, and how to modify those and how to make them work with your device, and also we want to do the low level design, or not design, but the low level development, and show that. But mostly we'll focus on what we will call porting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very interesting for some people to see, just to get how to get started with porting, because it can be a little intimidating if you have no idea what's happening there. And it's also going to be recorded, so you can watch it afterwards if you can't make it to Gijón in Spain. That's on on April 27th to April 29th, 2018, obviously.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say I think the community really likes all of the surprises that Marius likes to bring forward. With no warning, the surprises just show up, and we're all like, whoa, what just happened?
Why did no one tell us about this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they are.
So keep the surprises coming, Marius.
My network is slowly dying. I don't know, I lost you guys for a second there, but that's fine.
Wasn't important. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
So that's all of the events and admin out of the way. Now, let's get to the real meat of this program. So, everyone, this is Will on your screen right now.
Hi.
You've probably heard of him in the community. Last name, do you want that?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, Will Atwood. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's me, Will Atwood.
You've probably seen him in the community quite a bit, through the Telegram groups, the welcome group. Basically, anywhere you would be, you've probably seen him as Crash_Burn or Will himself. So, we wanted to bring him on today to ask, who is Crash_Burn?
Great. Thank you. Well, first, let me say thanks for having me on the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. I guess it's going to be the new name. It's an honor to be here and represent the Community Steering Committee, or the UBAM group, as we're called. UB Amazing, I think is what that stands for. My name is Will Atwood, and I'm a huge open source software advocate. So I'm happy to be here and helping out. One of my first experiences growing up was trying to understand how electronics worked from an early age. I took apart a model train in my bedroom and must have crossed the wire somehow, ended up starting some small fire in my bedroom and singed the carpet. And how my mom was able to put up with this and let me continue to experiment throughout the rest of my life is amazing. And I really thank her for letting me find my own way. I became an aerospace engineer, minored in computer science. I left that to go into a Cessna aircraft company, where I designed and flew aircraft. And then from there, started my own business and construction. My hobbies include skydiving, motorcycles, and computers. But as a father, I sort of put the first two of those aside and just decided to focus on computers, privacy, safety, and how that relates to my kids. And then three things that names I want to drop right now are CyanogenMod, WebOS, and Ubuntu Touch. And I think everyone understands
what has happened,
what the relationship, yeah, exactly, is of those. And together, basically, those form the graveyard of my failed dreams. And when Canonical decided to drop Ubuntu Touch, that was kind of the last straw for me. And I said, enough is enough, and I really need to become more involved. And that's why you've seen me so active in the community and that was basically the genesis for the welcoming team, and basically why I'm here today and what motivates me.
Right. And I remember when you were getting more involved in the community, one thing that I really liked was, yes, I'm not the only American involved here.
Yeah, that was refreshing. It was a lot of Europeans and from all over the world, but I think that's what makes the project great. And it was so exciting to see that kind of community involvement from all these different places.
Yeah, it is certainly
I
a
just
global
want to touch
community.
on that, Dalton. What do you
Yes.
think of us European that's so bad?
Nothing. It's just I was the only American in the project.
Well, okay.
He was just happy to have another person with network problems and CDMA.
And similar time zones. And I think actually Dalton and I are both from the Midwest. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and I think Dalton was nearby there.
I've been to Chicago once.
Oh, I thought you said you were Milwaukee or Wisconsin or something.
Wisconsin, but
yeah,
pretty far away yet.
Far away, yes. Pretty close.
In the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, you mentioned something called UBAM, or the Community Steering Committee. What are you talking about there?
So, great question. First of all, I'd like to thank the Community Steering Committee members for all of the hard work and the dedication that the team has put together and put into the project. Without them, we would not be where we are today. The Community Steering Committee is UBAM for short. It's basically like the communication hub for the project. It allows us to bring together the community into a communication area. Our goals are basically to build relationships, engaging with new members, and bridging gaps between where we see a need and the members that might fit that gap. Basically, in a nutshell, bringing order to chaos, sort of in the Telegram group. A perfect example of this would be Wayne out there. He approached me, engaged with me, brought me into the community, and basically gave me the confidence that I needed to be able to spread my wings, so to speak, and to come in and to be an integral member of the group. So I have to thank Wayne for all he's done for the project as well. He's been, I think, a big part. So
certainly,
he
likes to yell at us. Not really.
So I have a lot of small business experience running a successful company, knowing what it takes and knowing how difficult it can be to launch a company and deal with all the ins and outs of all the paperwork, the customers, accounts receivable, accounts payable. So seeing the community in action, it's given me the confidence in Ubuntu Touch in order to contribute to the project and invest time and resources and money into the project. And another part was watching this community update, seeing Marius, Dalton, Jan, and Florian talk in this update here, allowed me to see exactly how talented you guys were, how smart you were, and how organized, efficient, and willing you were to work on this project. And I think that has attracted me, and I think it's also attracting a lot of new talent to the project. So UBAM is here to support the foundation, welcome and recruit new members, create focus groups, and organize people and resources into those focus groups. And some examples of those are UB Langs, which is our language group and translations. The UBFR team, which was our original team that we started, was for the welcoming team and to provide installation help, which also had the benefit of trying to unclog the super group and move some of those lengthy conversations over to kind of a more private area so that we could have detailed, lengthy conversations on the installation. We also created UB Parents for people like me to understand how kids and technology can work together. UB Clouds is, I think, is a big part of Ubuntu Touch, having Nextcloud integration with Ubuntu Touch, and also including Raspberry Pi deployments in that. So I think that is a key to success with Ubuntu Touch, is having Nextcloud there. UB Mesh is another one Wayne was really interested in that we're also investigating. is wireless networks and how that might play out with, especially with happening with internet service providers and gatekeepers to the internet, and how we could possibly find new ways to get unrestricted access to the internet. And FAQs, my big first project, and basically my claim to fame here at UBports was all the hard work I put into the FAQ document. And
Right.
that
And
was
that's
a lot of
all
fun.
up. That's all up on the website
Yes.
now, is it not?
It
Okay.
is, yeah. So it was a
Neat.
lot of fun for me to see that actually get used and to get put into the website. That took me a month or so of working. And then we had the UB Docs to have a Telegram group so that we could get together to talk on documentation.
Yes,
So
indeed.
not only that, but the Community Steering Committee is working with marketing closely to support, promote, and expand Ubuntu Touch into new areas. So anyway, I hope that was informative. Thanks for letting me be here to represent the UBAM group, the UB Amazing guys. And thanks also to the entire community out there. Without all of the dedicated users, developers, promoters, enthusiasts of Ubuntu Touch, this project wouldn't be the world-class operation that I think it is today. So congratulations to everyone for their hard work, and join us. We're an open, welcoming community. That's what we're here to do, is to bring new members in, to attract talent, and to continue to take this to the next level. So thanks for having me here.
Wow.
Well, thanks for being here.
Wow.
You are a great presenter. That was great.
You are really this is so amazing. This nearly made me cry. This is just this is so
You really
awesome.
tugged at his heartstrings with that one.
Yeah, it's you guys.
Well, I didn't want. I wasn't intending to kind of inflate your egos. What I wanted to show is that I see, I see success from you. I see that you're such a good developer over there, and that you're able to keep this project together and moving in a certain direction. And I think other people are going to notice that, not only attracting talent, but OEMs or venture capitalists or whatever. I think you've positioned this this organization in a positive light, and I think it's going to move forward.
Okay, and before we wrap up or start digging into any of that, do you have anywhere you want to send people if they want to get involved with this Community Steering Committee or UB Amazing group?
I think if they just raise their hand, we'll find them on Telegram. If anyone just has a shout out on any communication channel, we're going to find you. We have people everywhere.
They're in the walls.
We're in your phone.
We're in your phone. Okay.
Thank you so much for that. That's really humble to see how the community has grown, and see how just see what started as a small porting community now has grown into this. It's just truly amazing to. So thank you, and thank you to everyone. Really, really, I mean it.
Yeah, do you have any questions for Will? Don't cry on stream.
I won't.
What is this? Never mind. No other questions? How do we follow that up? Now we just got some news. Well, we must. Marius, I'm going to reorder this a bit. Do you want to start with your 3 topics in there?
Yep, I can do that. I will start with Unity 8. There has been, I don't know anyone in it, but there has been some work done to get Unity 8 on desktop. With this, the point of this mostly in this stage is to try to get Unity 8 to a state where you can actually use it as a daily driver, both on the phone and desktop. That way we can have a coordinated effort between the desktop side and the Ubuntu Touch side to actually create Unity 8 as a really stable and user-friendly operating system, desktop environment that works both on phones and desktop. And with desktop, we will also have it a lot easier for people to try out, and also for people to be able to develop on it. Right now, it's not.
Oops.
And he's gone.
What was that about Americans having the bad internet access?
What?
We lost you.
Lost me? Where do you lost me?
Where did we lose him?
Unity 8 something.
Unity 8 something.
Okay, short sum up of what I said. I said Unity 8 available on desktop. It's available on desktop mostly for the developer side of things, since it's a lot easier to get it working on a desktop than working on phones, since phones require porting, etc., etc. This way we can make it easier for a developer to start hacking on it. You don't need to cross compile. For those who know what that is, you don't need to push things over to phone and back and forth. You can really just test it there. Just start it in Xmirror, not Xmirror, but X on Mirror on X, and then you can use Xmirror on top of Mirror on X. If that makes sense to anyone. Basically, what I'm saying is that you can run Unity 8 on top of your desktop environment. You can run Unity 8 and you get a small window with Unity 8 and you can test it.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's the core functionality of this, is that you can develop rapidly, easy, and make changes without needing to do it in a phone, and then you need to either reboot the phone, restart the Unity 8, and then it crashes or you failed, and then you need to recompile everything again, and then push it over to the phone, or segfaults like Dalton knows all about. But yeah, and later stage, as I said, I don't know if you heard that before I left, well, not left, but dropped out, is that we want to have this coordinated effort between phone and desktop, and be able to actually provide both a stable open source and awesome desktop environment. Also, second to that, we also have somewhat merged with Unit. It's now everything is going to be transformed into Unity 8, which is on the UBports side. There's currently in progress of merging the translation files, get everything over.
They had a lot more translations than we did. They had that set up pretty early on. So from them, we're getting a lot of translations. We're hoping we can kind of integrate in some of the other work that was coming as we go. But unfortunately, John said he was having some trouble getting the time to work on it, which, of course, everyone is busy, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so we want to try to also bring this the desktop side of Unity 8 forward, definitely. I think we can also make a call to action here for developers to come in and help with that. So if you have experience with C++, with Qt, with QML,
or with Unity 8 itself from a past life.
Yeah, already with Unity 8. That might be interesting for you probably to work on. We at the moment, we definitely need more help there. So we cannot do this without more people, definitely. Or well, we can keep up what we are doing at the moment. Just fine, but of course, convergence. If you want convergence, the desktop side needs to be perfect, and the mobile side needs to be perfect. The mobile side, I think, is pretty solid. But on the desktop side, we still have a lot of work to do. And yeah, so if you want to get involved with this, it is a very, very interesting area, and you have some some room to really shape the future of Unity 8 there, because there's a lot of open positions, I would say.
Yeah. And also one thing to add to that, also to call to action. If you're not a developer, but you like hacking around, building stuff, we also need huge amount of documentation there, just how to build it, how to set it up, how to get started at all. And those kind of tasks, you don't necessarily need to know the coding, but you kind of have to have the knowledge to hack around, CMake and make and all these tools. That also would really help us, and that's also would help other developers to get started easier, instead of everyone needing to figure out how to build them, because there is documentation in the source code itself, but those are pretty outdated.
Right, and it'd be nice to just be able to have the readme.md file that explains this is how you build this is how you install it on a desktop, and this is how you install it on a handset or tablet.
Yep.
Yeah, I think especially for people who worked on this in the past and would probably like to see their work not go away, and probably don't have the time to really drive this in the future, but maybe just can provide at least some hints how to start, how to what to watch out for, and hints where documentation is. That's probably not that easy to find. That's probably would great if we could get some contributions from those people.
Yes, indeed. Anything else on the Unity 8 topic?
No, I think we covered that pretty well now. So I will jump straight into another interesting and awesome project.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yes, it's called Unity 8. Someone asked. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's called
Continue.
Unity 8, yes. Andbox. Andbox is our way to run Android apps. There has been some work going on there. There has been a bit. It goes a bit slowly because there is a lot of stuff happening with Xenial, which is our main focus, to get Xenial up to a state. And since you can't run Andbox without Xenial, it does make sense to make Andbox first and then Xenial, since you need Xenial anyway.
Oh. Well, now we're going to have to tell him where we lost him again. Everyone remember?
What was the last word? Way better. Wait, stop.
Anyone else know what he was trying to say?
He was saying that while Andbox is a priority project, of course, it's not the highest on the
right. That would be the Ubuntu, the Xenial backlog, it's called.
Yeah. So the highest priority right now is to resolve the issues that were introduced by the new Xenial base on the 1604 Devil channel right now. But Marius is back, so he can pick this back up. Marius, you were telling how Andbox is not happening without Xenial.
Gotta love my ISP, by the way. Andbox. Where did I drop out again?
You were telling how Andbox is not going to happen without Xenial.
But I think we finished covering that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then I can start on what has currently been happening.
And he's gone again.
I guess we really don't need news today.
There, even though damn it. Oh, I'm back. Sorry. Okay.
Great.
I will try again. Cross your fingers. Apparently, my ISP don't want me to talk about Andbox. But where I was, what currently has been happening, even though there hasn't been happening much, what has been happening is, as tried to say is I ripped out the binder from the kernel, made it into its own binder. Binder is a messaging system that Android uses that goes through the kernel, where different applications can talk to each other. And as you know, Andbox is based on Android, so Android does use this binder. And for us to make this be really, really fast, this needs to be in the kernel. So what I have done is I took this out of not being the default one, made our own separate Andbox binder, and
Great.
Nice.
Okay, so what Marius was saying is he made some. Okay, he's back.
this is terrible. I made a modification, so I ripped it out of the default Android. That way, it doesn't interfere with the already running Android or the already running Android layer that provides the graphics drivers and the drivers for everything. There was some problems, especially on the profile where you didn't have cellular network because of this. And what I did now is that I took it out, made its own, renamed everything, made a wrapper around it so it's nice and tidy. And that way, what's also good about it is that you can actually compile that as a module, a kernel module. That way you don't have to reflash your kernel to actually be able to run Andbox. This way we can actually deliver Andbox without needing to reflash or change channel or install that by default. So that's a huge benefit, and also it will make porting Andbox to a new device a lot easier, since you don't have to touch the already existing fragile Android stuff. You can just slap this on and it should work.
I have one question on that. I think the big question is how well will Candy Crush work in that scenario?
Candy Crush. I don't know if you saw my. I don't know if. I think it was my.
It was our surprise. We're working on this now episode.
It was a surprise. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was playing Candy Crush. It works flawlessly, without any noticeable lags. It's direct GL rendering. Everything is direct. They have direct mirror access, because it's not a
fast.
virtual machine. Yeah, it's not a virtual machine. It runs in a container, in an LXD container, which means it's confined, but it still has performance as it would run on hardware.
We do have an
Candy Crush would work in exactly the same way as on Android. Sorry, Don.
No, it's okay. We do have an interesting question from Notkit over in the Telegram group. Will Andbox use the graphics drivers directly, which is what it kind of sounds like you're saying? Kind of like Alien Dalvik and SF Droid on Sailfish? Or is it like a transport layer?
No, what it actually does, it gets the raw ELG from Mir. It asks for that. It sends the raw ELG over to Surface Flinger on Android, and Surface Flinger Android basically just pipes that over in a raw format. It does not use the graphic drivers purely. It doesn't render by itself like that. It uses Mir to do all the composing and rendering, but it goes through Mir, so it doesn't have direct GPU access. It's to have a best. It's like I don't know. There's nothing like it actually. There's nothing to compare it with. But basically,
it's taking all its own.
It takes EHL from Mir and then sending it over to Surface Flinger, and Surface Flinger just sends the frames directly to Mir, and then Mir does the composing and blah blah blah. So
I think that's I think that's why I'm amazed that the underpowered phones can handle going through all of that and have such a nice experience playing games like Candy Crush. So I'm just impressed.
Yeah, the power of ELG.
EGL?
Technically,
Sorry.
EGL. Technically, it goes directly, since the ELG kind of
EGL.
goes directly. That thing, because that thing goes directly from the vendor, the GPU vendor. So it's fast. Of course, it's not as fast as it would if it runs without those layers, but it's not that noticeable, if that makes sense. I haven't tested it
Yeah.
like FPS to FPS. There might be you might not get 30 FPS, but you get 25. But
It might be
it's
slower,
not,
but it's still fast.
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the other big news here that I just caught on to is that you said we're not going to have to reflash the devices, because that in the installation room is going to be a nightmare, having to have all the people come back and reflash, because it doesn't always go smoothly, as we see firsthand in the working rooms that we're in. So if we can push this out as an OTA update rather than having to reflash all the devices, that's a huge bonus in my book.
Oh yeah, they would never be ray flash anyway. The
Right.
other
It would still
option
be
was
right. It'd
the
still be
other
part of the
option.
OTA, but
Even a kernel change.
yeah,
there
you
there
can
is.
install those.
Yeah, so far you had to refresh the boot partition, so the kernel essentially.
Okay, good.
But now you don't have to do that anymore.
We still probably will do it for some devices, since it's safer to ship
Yeah,
it as.
It's not a reflash from the installer.
As soon as it's stable, or as soon as we call it stable, it will just be okay. You download the Nbox setup application, whatever, from the open store, and it does all the magic for you. So the finished product, you won't have to do any magic.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yep. The magic will be hidden.
Okay,
Yeah.
we do have a new question. Well, it's a question we were going to get to later, but looks like a good time. The timescale we're thinking of for Anbox further rollout, especially on Qualcomm devices. So again, we're not looking at this at all. It's not the highest priority. It is after 1604 based images are out and work really well. Of course, that doesn't mean that no one's going to work on it or that it's going to get improvements throughout that cycle, but just that it's definitely not going to be stable until after Xennial's out. Does that sum it up? Oh, have we lost Marius?
Nope.
Okay.
You lost me for a second, but not long enough. Yeah. I will just pick on what you said about the Qualcomm stuff. The Qualcomm stuff, we can have a call for action if anyone wants to tackle that. I know that one is a beast to fix, because that it can be a problem anywhere from mirror to QT mirror to Sailfish Flinger to the Unbox itself. That one is a extreme beast to fix.
So basically, the problem is, I think we talked about it a little bit last week. The color space is wrong. So colors don't appear correctly. And, well, nothing works at all. Nothing renders. It just doesn't work.
Well, color space might
be
still,
the problem.
it might be a problem. Looking into some more, it seems to be a scaling issue, that the raw pixel seems to, not the raw pixels, but the raw frames seems to be scaled discorrectly. But if you want to know more about that, I think it's better to ping me, because this is really highly technical.
We should probably stop.
Yeah, we should stop before people fall asleep. But I will continue the Unbox train, because I haven't been sleeping lately. I haven't slept lately.
We can tell.
So I also have been working on the software keyboard to be able to use the Ubuntu keyboard, instead of actually hack together some Android keyboard that you use. What I've been doing with that is I basically made a fake Android keyboard that sends back a response through the Andbox socket, says, hey, I need a keyboard now. It pops up a keyboard and then sends the key input that you put in, sends it over to the Android fake keyboard, and then the Android fake keyboard puts it in. It's the simplest, the most effective way to do this without needing to go through the Linux driver way, or the raw driver way, which the keyboard goes. The keyboard sends raw key presses to Andbox to Android, and Android will then decode those to actually ASCII keys.
So this means that the Ubuntu keyboard works with Andbox after this is ready.
Yes. I don't know when, but soon TM.
And it pops up like it's supposed to and goes back down when it's supposed to. Which is something that doesn't happen right now. Because who needs a keyboard anyway?
Didn't we have similar problems like that when Canonical was running Ubuntu Touch with the keyboards? I remember early on that they had issues. Maybe it was in the Libertine containers that with LibreOffice getting the keyboard to show up and drop off.
Sounds like it'd be similar.
Yeah, and second, we also had issues with applications that had multiple windows.
Mm-hmm.
We had many
that we fixed.
Issues. Yeah,
but we have fixed those. Those are fixed.
Yeah.
That was all the Andbox stuff. Was all. There was a lot, really. I said that there wasn't many, but there actually was. So let's continue the awesome bandwagon with 6.04 updates. There has also, believe it or not, been updates there. As I said, I haven't slept. So what's going on? Going on there is mostly stability updates, fixing small stuff because there's many small stuff. Like the Dire app doesn't start. It does start now. There's many other apps that didn't start correctly. Some rendering issues with the Ubuntu toolkit. It's mainly small stuff that makes it not a daily driver. It's also been some work doing to mirror to be able to actually run on COF devices without modifications. COF devices are Qualcomm's specific devices, so Qualcomm's own Android 3. That has been done, and basically going over with a brush and polishing stuff, and fixing stuff that was broken, recompiling and just doing those kind of work. A lot of that has been happening. So to add to that, I'm now using Xenial as my daily driver with Andbox. So now, example, I can now call with the phone while having Andbox running. For example, that was an issue. I have Andbox running in multiple windows. That's also an update that I haven't talked about, but you can have Andbox in a different window. It doesn't need to be the same window. And just a lot of those small issues. As you probably can tell, I can't remember all because there has been so many small ones that are necessarily for a good solid device, but not necessarily big enough to remember.
Wait, can we go back and replay something there? Because I think I heard him just say he's using Xenial as a daily device, and I just wanted to catch that.
Yep, I am.
Wow.
Do we recommend everyone does that? No.
No.
Not really.
we don't. Really not.
It's the reason why I use it as a daily driver is mostly to find bugs. Mostly, it's the best way for me to find where issues are, and also it's the best way to see how the devices behave in a long term. To see that actually the device doesn't reboot every second, that the device actually is able to make a voice call, makes that you get text messages as expected, you get incoming calls as expected. So there is a lot of benefit from running it as a daily driver, and for me to run it as a daily driver, it's also a push to myself to fix issues, because I get really annoyed by an issue, and then then I don't sleep, but I in the return I actually fix those issues because they are too annoying to use at a daily hour. So
Yeah, that's
it's
Sleep,
both
bugs.
yeah.
Eh.
Wait, bed bugs.
it's both a
Bed
test.
bugs.
Bed bugs, yeah. But to add to this, just saying that I use Andbox. No, I use Xenial as a derivative driver because it's testing and it's a motivation for myself to actually fix those issues because they are annoying.
Okay, we did have a question that, again, we were going to cover later, but it actually fits here right now, so I'm going to put it in now. Another question from the same person as earlier about if we could do change logs for the Xennial images as they come. As you can hear, even Marius can't remember all the things that are happening. So we'd just be spending a long time writing those change logs, or the software to grab them. So no, we're not really planning on making change logs for every single image that comes out. But where can people watch if they want to know what's going on? That was you.
I would. Oh, I would.
I heard Jan breathing, and I was like, he's gonna say this. Yes.
I can talk on that on the development side of things. If you are technical interest, you should definitely follow the GitHub commits logs. Those are the most in detail. But for the more user friendly, I think Jan can explain more.
What's a little easier to understand, easier to see, it's actually, I think, okay to look at this for non-technical users as well, is the Kanban board on GitHub. We can put a link in the show notes and also a link to the documentation page explaining how this works and what you're looking at what actually means. It's just a website with columns, and every column has multiple issues in it, and it says, for example, rotation doesn't work, and then the issue gets moved from accepted, so that means okay, we acknowledge that this issue is a problem, to in development, that means someone picked it up, someone is working on it. The next one is quality assurance, that means okay, a fix has been committed, the fix has probably landed, but it's not confirmed that there's no issues whatsoever. And then the last one is release candidate. Normally that means that the fix for it is in the RC channel on the device, but since we don't have an RC channel for Xenial yet, that just doesn't mean anything. That just means it's confirmed, and yeah, we know that it's fixed now. So yeah, we'll put a link to that in the description.
There we go. We did have Adobe say that we might be able to do automated changelogs. That it might work with Debian packaging. I don't know.
Sure, we could do that, but that would not be user friendly. I mean, that's it's what the users who are asking for this want is a list that says, okay, this issue was fixed, that issue was fixed, something. But that doesn't work. That's not how the Devil channel works.
Right.
Because if a new Devil image gets built, then that means okay, a developer committed a fix and tested it locally, probably or hopefully, but that doesn't mean that it works on all the devices. So that's just not how the Devil channel works. In theory, it would be an option for the RC channel, but even there, issues can still happen. RC gets built once a week normally, so that means there can still be issues that were committed the day before RC got built. And introduce a severe problem. That's why we only do change logs at the moment for stable, which is normally every 2 or 3 months.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and also to add to that, I think there's two types of change logs. I think that's what we need to also be aware. There is one developer change log which has the raw Git commits. That's definitely be able to auto generate those. That will be possible. But for the changelog we are talking about right now, it's mostly a user-friendly way to tell the user what does this update bring me, and that's not possible to auto generate.
Right. Yeah, he did have a couple of responses. Changelogs aren't usually user-friendly, but that's really what we would like to have them be. At least if we're going to put in the work for the users to make them.
Automating them with Debian changelogs, that would be an option. Automating them with Git commit logs, that would be an option. Yes, we could do that. Probably we can look into it.
And if anyone has,
PR's welcome, of course.
Yeah, if anyone has scripts or things that go through a whole organization or a certain subset of repositories and picks them and says this commit, and just puts them all into a text file, that would work. That would be nice. Write better commit messages. Thanks.
Yeah, I think many of my commit matches.
Let's not talk about those.
Yeah. Hey.
Let's fix it.
Is fixed now.
Tried something.
Try now. Try now. Try now.
That was not me.
Anyway, so the question that came in earlier was from Seamus. He dared me to pronounce his name live.
Seamus.
Fist bump. He wants a fist bump.
That's fist bump.
Bro fist.
Wow. We're 53 minutes in.
Oh wow. The time has flown by. God.
So let's should we rapid fire some questions here?
Yep. Let's do that.
Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So these are the three that we hear. No, three? I can't count. That's only two. It says three in the notes, but that's only two questions.
Yeah, we could add another one.
The ones that we hear the most in the supergroup. Stuff about Libertine, having LibreOffice on the Nexus 5 would be killer. Yes.
Xenial, definitely better.
Yes.
That's it. That's a keyword. Just to add to that, really quick.
Really quick.
Is that Xenial has a lot of improvements also on that, because those part has been upgraded to the newest things that Canonical shipped. Because there's many, like Xmere has a lot of improvements in Xenial that is not on Vivid, which makes it a lot better to use desktop application. So this was not quick, but Libertine will be better in Xenial. Yes. Device support. There's a lot of people asking how to port a device. Come to UBcon and I can show you live.
Advertisement. Got him.
But there's also documentation there already, right?
Yes.
So at docs.halium.org.
Docs.halium.org will get you porting Halium. And then at docs.ubports.org, we have our porting documentation with our specifics. .com. We're not a .org. I swear I've been in this project for 1.5 years.
Porting also has been a lot easier now with both Halium and also the work that's been done with merging and unifying CUF devices since CUF devices.
So you don't need to worry about any of that anymore. You just get to port stuff.
Yeah.
So on the topic of porting, probably we can get one question that we also get a couple of times. The problem Halium set out to fix is that you have to make project-specific modifications to your ports after you ported it. So you have to port every operating system separately. And now you're telling me that you still have to do that for Ubuntu Touch, What's up with that, and will that ever change?
No. I think you got it wrong. You port Helium and then you slap Ubuntu Touch on it. But
There
the
are some changes though, but that is what I'm working on primarily.
Yeah.
I just proposed something called Helium Boot, and you can find that at the Helium Project Management Issue Tracker if you're interested, including testing instructions. If anyone out there has a Helium port and would like to test that, please do. But basically that unifies the very, very early boot stuff for the phones. So that's the same between Ubuntu Touch and any other Helium OS. As for other specific things, there are config files for like how big your phone screen is that I don't know if we have to do more on that. It's primarily my project at this point because I don't want to write the documentation for this device specifics for all of us. Did I say slap a bun on it? No. Anyway.
Yeah, so we should probably say Helium is still a moving target.
Yes.
It was never a thing that would be defined in a week and then set in stone forever. So there's still changes being made to Helium. And of course, we can't just say, okay, this will now work like that, and we always have to talk to the other projects that are using it, the other projects that are contributing to it, and so reach common ground.
Yeah, Helium is big. It's also between different projects, and when different projects come together, they have different meanings. And when there's two conflicting arguments, it always takes time to unify that and to actually make decisions. So Helium is definitely something that it's both big and it takes time. As Jan said, it's not something you do in a weekend. It's something that will take probably years to become really set in stone.
Right, but something that's really interesting about that being able to that clock. Never mind. About all of the different projects coming together is getting all of their interests in the project, because this morning I was talking to one of the developers of LuneOS about how about how Helium Boot is going to affect him. So it's really interesting to get everyone in one room and saying, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. So I think that's a really unique thing that we have in this space. I said we were going to rapid fire questions, and we're not doing very good.
No, we're not firing fast enough.
Okay, Seamus, Telegram says, any timescale for generic functionality of Libertine on Xennial? Has anyone tried that?
What do you mean generic?
I don't think we're there yet.
We aren't there yet?
What do you mean?
No.
Explain.
How does Libertine work right now?
Libertine is just a container that runs X11 app, but you can run X11 app natively. You don't need to run them in a container, if that's the question. The only reason Libertine is there is because Ubuntu Touch is read-only.
Confinement.
Well,
general
read-only.
Functionality. Does it work right now, basically?
So is that going to be an option in the future when we have the N5 and we have Xenial on the N5? Are we going to be able to have LibreOffice run without being in a Libertine container? I think that would be pretty special for us to be able to showcase that.
Yeah, you can. To be honest, you can do that now. It's not recommended because you have to remount your root file system to not be read-only. But you can simply do that with remount it and use apt-get as normally, and you can start the application with Xmir.
But then you don't have confinement. So
and also the OTAs will wipe it.
Either you don't have confinement,
right,
or you can't access any files, and
that's there is a door gun.
There is a balancing act there. If you trust
document formation.
Document. Yeah. LibreOffice. If you trust LibreOffice, which I do, run it without confinement. If there is an app you don't trust, run it in Libertine. So
Yeah.
Trust no apps. Good job, Dobie.
Yeah.
Trust nothing.
but there is an application called Xmir Helper, which you can run any application. You just run Xmir Helper and the application you want, and it should magically start.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm talking about Xenial now. I'm talking about Xenial, not Vivid. This is all Xenial. Vivid is still a bit iffy because there's still stuff that is old, outdated.
Okay. LibreMax. We took down stats.ubports.com. This is something that we've told the community now. Is it possible to maybe bring it back in the short term with just changing the description or removing the total devices so it's only the graphs?
Yeah, what we can do is really just wipe all the data and let it counts again. Maybe it gets a little bit more accurate, but right now it's
I don't
highly
think it would be.
it's highly inaccurate. It was like 50,000 when I took it down, and like, what? This is not possible.
That was download numbers. So
Right.
we
So
would
maybe
have to,
just remove the big count and just have the graphs of aggregate data, because that would be more
Yeah.
accurate simply because of
or
how
let's
aggregate
just
data works.
rename it to download counts instead of stats. That might be better.
Okay. One more question from Seamus. I can say his name now. Oh. So there were questions about the web browser in the forum topic this week. Since some things have updated their sites and either Flash Player or something tries to come up, doesn't work. Would it be possible in the future to specify a download folder from the browser? Like what would we need someone to contribute for that to happen? I'll spin that.
That's a mix between the content hub and also the browser. I think it is the browser that actually defines that, and also the browser does run unconfined as far as I know. So, or if it does run confined, you can change that. But basically, it needs changes to the browser itself to be able to do that. I don't think that's a huge task to do, since I think that's just defined by a string. But I see Dolby is a thing that browsers should be confined. Maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not completely in the apps yet. I'm mostly low level and middleware. It's where I love. So
if someone wants to poke the browser and make it save somewhere else.
Yeah, just poke it till it works. That's usually how I do it.
We're going to quote you on that.
Oh no,
it's going to become a song.
Not again.
Joe, I know you're listening out there. Make that happen.
Yeah, web app or web container definitely is confined. Yes, but browser, as you said, is a deb file, so I'm not 100% sure.
He's talking to the live chat, by the way. Excellent. I think.
Sorry about that. com/ubports.com, the UBports, and you can get these nice stickers.
We lost the first part of that.
It was so good.
So if you want to support the UBports project, we are wrapping up here. Sorry.
If you want to support the UBports project, go to patreon.com/UBports or liberapay.com/UBports. You can get stickers, and
not on LibrePay.
LibrePay doesn't tell us how much people pay or their address.
Yeah, LibrePay doesn't have an option for that. The Patreon does. So
yeah, go to Patreon then, and you can get stickers if you want. They are really nice. I love them. They are pretty nice.
I wonder who made them.
I got some stickers and I took them to my workplace yesterday. And everyone, all my coworkers that I met, I said, "Hey, you want some stickers?" Most of them took them.
Yeah, everyone loves
Wow.
Yumi. The Yumi stickers are amazing. I love Yumi. Yumi is my bae. Let's wrap this up, guys. We are 6 minutes over schedule. So
I don't think I can. We need to talk about that after this, Marius.
Dalton, take it away. Take off.
Well, that has been the UBports community update, which will next time be the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. This was episode 22 on February 3rd, 2018. You can get a hold of us on Twitter, Google+, Mastodon, Diaspora, Matrix at UBports, matrix.com. Need to try that again. #UBports, matrix.org. You can also get a hold of us on Telegram at @UBports, as well as Freenode IRC. We have #UBports, which is also bridged to our Telegram group. We've got a news mailing list, which will be linked in the description, and all of those other social networks will be as well. Did I miss anything, anyone?
We have Facebook.
We have Facebook. We have Facebook.
Yeah. We have Facebook.
Does anyone know what the URL is?
Nah.
I think it's just slash UBports.
It is facebook.com/UBports.
Just delete your Facebook account and follow us on Mastodon.
Okay.
We have one review. I think
5
we're
star.
great.
Yes. 5 star.
That person's correct.
And Dalton, you have the power to stop the stream. There you can.
Make it end, he says. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Slap the
Thank
like
you.
button down
Thank
below
you.
this. Like, subscribe.